resistant line. Go ahead and clear this out, move this down a little bit. And I'm gonna do a little bit of drawing, so excuse the mouse. So there's the tap. How about I just text? How about I just type this in? Text. First one is the tap. I'm gonna show you what that looks like. And I'll use your arrows to symbolize the charts. It's not working.
And for those of you that are not aware of what's going on, he's on investing.com. That's just another platform that we all look at. I'm pretty sure everyone here may know, but you can utilize all the indicators on this website. I mean, they got over 70 or 80, 70 indicators out there, and you could probably use them all at one time if you wanted to on this platform. So that's the beauty of investing.com. You can draw stuff up here and still trade from the other platform.
Man, what is going on? I'm gonna delete that. So you have tap. Basically, a tap is you'll have the chart selling. Maybe I can show it better on a regular chart. So when finding support and resistant lines, the first one is tap. That's when you have oh my God. Excuse the brother.
Did it kick you out, Kenny?
Yeah. He is working today.
Well, it's going to come on here shortly, so.
You need that. So back at it again. The first method of finding support and resistance lines is what is called tap. And that's when you're going to have basically what I do is I use the line chart to help me find support and resistant line. And you have to remember the line chart will not show no wicks. It will show when the candle closes. So when you actually open it up and you put the candles back on there, you'll start to see your wicks.
And that was a huge nugget for those that are really just getting into this, using the line chart first and then switching back over to the candlesticks.
I just add that too. Let me make my line darker and bolder so that you can see it. Let me get this right here.
It just seems a little more level with those lines.
Right.
So basically, Kenny is being a carpenter right now and got his little leveler tool out and trying to level everything.
Yeah. So you see how I want y'all to see it. Make this dark black. See how on this where price is at right here on this line right here where my cursor is, where it's circled at, see how it touches as resistance, and then you see right here where it's support, where it shows support right here. And if you follow it all the way down, you see how this line right here is a major support right here, resistance, support, support. It breaks through, gives you a false breakout, and then it shoots back up. That's one way to that's one way. That's called the tap. That's when price touch as resistance and price touches at support. The next one would be the overlapping. That's gonna make me got it. Now when it overlaps, it should actually be at the same. Instead of like, you don't want one longer than the other and one shorter than the other. Like, say you got the resistance touching the line and the support actually goes through the line. So you want it to actually overlap where it's equal. That's another strong sign of showing support and resistance right there.
Could you show that, Kenny? Could you show that again?
The overlapping?
Yes, I was kind of confused.
Want me to do another one?
Yes, sir. Well, I mean, you could just explain that one again. I was just trying to understand it myself.
Right. So overlapping, basically what it's doing is that when price goes up past the support resistant line and it comes back down, it goes through and goes back up, that's overlapping.
Okay, got it.
You see what I'm saying? And then
yes,
you'll
sir.
find, and as you do your back history on it, you'll see that line somewhere down the line, it was touching, it goes through, which, I mean, it could be a weak line and it could be a strong line. All right?
Got it.
And then the last one is called gap. So TOG, TOG, tap, overlap, and gap. And I'm about to do the gap right now. I don't find very many gaps though.
Do you normally do this on like Sundays, or you just do it anytime you're about to work something up?
I'm gonna go over that how I do it.
Oh, okay.
I just like really started doing it, and I start doing it from the day chart,
Oh, okay.
and then I go down to the 4 hour chart when I
Well,
do it.
all
So
right.
I'm gonna go right after I show you this gap right here.
Hey, y'all, I'm sorry out there. I'm just getting excited. Kenny's keeping me in check, making sure I don't get all the information up front.
Right. So when you do the gap as well should be evenly spread apart. So say for instance, right here on this gap right here, see how price almost came to the line right there? Uh-oh. And then it sort of tested it right here. I'm just using this as an example. It'll be right there, that little piece right there. That is gap. Any questions?
Any questions out there? Are we clear on the tap, the overlap, and the gap?
All right, moving along.
Yep, we're good to go. No questions. No questions. Somebody said repeat, please, and I said tap. That's stands for touch as resistance. Am I correct, Kenny?
Correct.
And touch as support. And then you had the overlap, and then you had the gap, the GAP, and that's the one he just showed at the end.
Right.
Oh, it says, someone says, can you repeat gap on the TOG? So I guess they mean on the screen. Can you show?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back. I'm gonna go back and try to find a better example. I've been playing with this like all day, and I can find them like very easy. That's a good example of a touch right there. I'm gonna go to, maybe that's the problem. I need to change it.
Just letting the people know out there to be patient. He's basically he's trying to find examples of this live, so it's not like pre-planned. He's actually trying to find them live. So it's a difference when you're looking live and it's already done up for us. He's definitely going to show us all three methods again. He's just trying to point them out, which is the tap. That was where he drew the straight line and like the little jagged edges that was coming up to the support, and or on the other side of the line, which is resistance. And then he did the overlay or the overlap, using the lines and the gap. So he's definitely going to rework them for y'all. So
Yeah.
it looks, he's actually showing us again.
And here goes the example of a gap right here. You see how price right here comes up, goes down, it tests, it has resistance right here, comes down, breaks through, comes back down, retests it as that support, and then it takes back off, up and running. Did that help out?
Did that help out for the overlap? They were actually wanting to see another gap
Overlap?
and another gap and a yes, the overlap was good. Sounds like they want to see a gap and a tap now.
All right, that's the gap right here. I can do a tap. Tap is easy. Taps are easy.
All right.
There's a tap.
Okay.
Right here. And right here. That's a tap right there.
Yep. Y'all see that? And basically, it looks like, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Kenny, but that tap, and because I'm trying to understand it too, but that tap is that line is running east and west, and then north of that line is being tapped for a support, and then south of that line is tapped as a resistance. Correct?
Correct.
Yep. So y'all got that? Let me see some ones if you really understand what a tap is. 1-1. Let me get 1-1. All right, I got 1-1. So we got the tap knocked out, and we got the overlap knocked out, and then y'all can see the gap. We can move forward.
And here's the gap.
Got it.
Now the gap should be like evenly spaced, somewhat evenly spaced apart. You don't want one overpowering the other. My line may not be exactly straight in there, but that's the idea of what the gap would look like.
So basically that gap is hovering over the resistance and the support line.
Right. So if I put the candle on there, see how you got that little wick that's down there? That wick came down and touched it.
Got it.
You see, and this is where the wicks come in. Remember, when you use the line only shows the closing of the candle. It doesn't show the wick. So when you do a gap, that means there's going to probably be some wick play in there. I need to, if I can make, I know how to make that clear so you can see that wick right there. Yeah. See that wick right there? With my there's a wick right there.
Somebody said thanks for those candles. They didn't do well in geometry.
Oh, okay. I mean, I found the easier way to make the support and resistance is using the line method. That's for me.
Okay.
All right. So
got it.
Is that good?
Yes, sir. That's good.
All right. So basically what I want to go over a little strategy that I've been using for here a couple months now on how to trade with the finding support and resistant lines. Now the way I'm doing this is that I don't usually draw the whole lines. But what I do draw the whole lines, but they be really faint. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go through this chart right here and show you how I do it. And if you have any questions, please stop me and ask, and then we'll go ahead and I'll answer them. All right.
Yes, sir.
So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pick out, I'm on the day chart right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick out the support and resistant, strong support and resistant lines of what I see out there. And right now, the first one right here I got, and I have to make this smaller so I can see. So the first one I got is I got a tap right here and a tap right here. And then I go ahead and I go back to my horizontal line, and then I'll go ahead and finish where I left off at. Right here we have like a tap. This one would be considered, I would use this one as a tap. It's tapping right here and it's tapping right here.
Got it.
Let me lock these. And I'll just do a couple more. There's another tap right there. It's tapping right there and tapping right there. I don't, so when drawing my support and resistance lines, I don't too much worry about far back on how far they go back, because if it's a support and resistance line right now, somewhere back in history, it was support and resistance.
This is pretty good.
Here you got a mixture right here. You got right here, you got an overlap, and you got an overlap right here. You got a lot of tapping right here with a tapping resistance, tapping support, but no gap right there. And I'll do one more. And here you got a tap support, tap resistance. You got somewhat of a gap right here, which would probably be some wicks right there. But mainly, I look at the taps. I like the taps because it's like pretty good. Now I changed my color code, so I make all my day red, and you'll see why. Lock. So, and if I go ahead and I pull up the candle, now it comes a better picture of what you see, what you're actually looking at. You see how support becomes resistance and resistance becomes support.
Yep. It's
Any
clear.
questions?
Any questions out there? I'm pretty sure that looks pretty clear to everyone now. No questions, Mr. Hatton?
All right. So now what I do is I take it down to the 4-hour chart. And then basically let me do this. So if you want to help yourself, I show the text. I click on the red. I'm gonna move my text to the left and I'm gonna put it up top. And then I write this. And if I spell it wrong, don't laugh. Daily. So now when I go into the 4-hour chart, I know red is my daily, but I also labeled this line right here.
Got it.
Ooh, that's still center left. Okay.
Kimmy says she feels like she's learning some tricks already.
Thank you. Glad I can help. Show text. Left. Top. We gotta type the word in there though.
Somebody else just put a funny quote in. I think that was Shelly talking about thanks for helping us old folks with the can't remember stuff syndrome.
Hey, I'm right there with you. So right there, that is that's how I do my daily. And it just becomes so clear. It even actually helps out. So once I get done with the daily, I go down here to the 4-hour chart. And you see how things is like spread out. You don't even see no more day. You probably see one daily that we picked up earlier, right? So I'll go back to the line. And now I'm going back through and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna find some support and resistance lines. And I won't take as long as I did previous.
So now we're on the 4-hour, correct?
Correct.
So y'all, we drilling down. We drilling down from the day chart to the 4-hour chart. I imagine he gonna pick another color.
Right. The color will be blue. So when I do the 1-hour chart, I'm gonna pretty much stay pretty much closer to the day and go back to like probably like the end of the month. I mean the beginning of the month.
This looks very familiar to me because this is a method we use in charting commodities. It's pretty similar. No difference. So this is pretty neat.
I change everything to blue. Now the thing about it is like once you do this, like how I changed it over to blue and added the 4 hour to there, it's gonna do that for every line I draw now. So I don't have to go back in there and do it.
So not only are y'all getting trading tips tonight and charting tips, you're getting paint program tips.
Trying to be flexible.
Yeah. They actually teach this at Office Depot. They got like courses to help you work certain programs, not investing, but paint program, stuff like that.
So basically, in between the daily support and resistance, I'm gonna try to keep my minimum to like about 2 or 3 in a 4 hour chart. On a 4 hour chart in between the daily support and resistance, because what I don't want to do is I do not want them to like just be on top of each other, because that would defeat the purpose of trying to see the inner side, what's going on between the support and resistance of my daily chart. So since I got 2 right there, I'm gonna go down below the daily this support and resistance line right here from the daily, and then I'm gonna go ahead and try to find a couple more, about 2 or 3. That's a good one. See, we got it. Touch. There's a little bit of a gap right here. A little bit of a gap right there.
And the beauty of this is it's going to be recorded, so we can definitely go back and get some good notes if we miss something.
This is going to be an overlap right here. Overlap right there. So when you add the candles, it sort of looks a little bit more clear of what's going on. And you probably see that this market right here on the day chart, on the 4 hour chart, this is pretty much it's in consolidation right here. And this is how. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, Kenny. I was just trying to see when you said consolidation, since that's 4 hours, since that represents 4 hours, and the price hadn't fluctuated much between the price right there that I'm looking at to the right. And that's what tells us we're in consolidation.
Yes, because I look at this line right, this top, this one support resistance line I got right here, and this line right in this bottom support line. This line right here, and this bottom support line right here tells me that the market is going left or right.
Got it.
What you got a false breakout, right? You got a false breakout right here. You see where price came up in? It hit this resistance right now, bounced down, had a false breakout with the support line right here. So you had a little bit of consolidation right here. And then it kept going up. False, false, false. I actually would have came like Here's something I would have did. And use this line right here. It told me that this was going left to right. But if you break it down, if you go into like the 1 hour chart, it becomes a whole different picture to where you trading. All right.
Got it. Everybody clear on that? Anybody got any questions so far about drilling down from the day chart to the 4 hour chart? And now we're getting ready to go down to the hour chart.
Right. So basically for the 1 hour chart, I don't draw no support and resistance lines. If I do, I use the one line. This right here, just like I did in the on the 4 hour chart. And I just go ahead and I look through and I see, like, I'll determine my trend. So I know from this point right here, I know how this trend is going up. I use my trend lines to draw. And then if I see like little consolidation periods right here, I sort of mark my charts up. All right, let's go. Are we good so far?
Yes, sir. We're good.
All right. So now I want to get into the strategy that I wanted to talk about. The strategy I got is like real easy, but I guarantee you it's what y'all been waiting for. So the strategy that I'm going to use is a strategy that I seen and I thought it was like pretty easy for basically newcomers to come in. It's something that they can pick up real easy, and I just thought it was like real good for newcomers, intermediate. Just looking at the chart, identifying something that you can go ahead and just pick up and trade. All right. So I don't have a name for this strategy, but it's very easy, and it can be done on any. It can be done on any time frame. So I'm okay. And I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you the strategy. So basically, what we're looking for is. Oh, and I want to clear this too, because I'm gonna go back. So basically, we're looking for to identify the strategy that we're using. Here goes the idea. So you have a period of consolidation right here, and it's consolidation because it hits more than like 2 times, right?
Got it.
So you have this consolidation right here, and then the price breaks down. So right here, it starts to create a lower low. And then I'm waiting for the price to come back up and retest this area right here. All right, which is going to create a lower high. So now what I want price to come back and do is, that is not a good one. Scratch that. Let me find a good one. Here we go. So we have this consolidation right here. And you see how price touches this right here? We got 3 touches, and then it actually breaks down, and then right here it creates a lower low. And now what I'm waiting for price to do is to come back and test the price line that it just broke. And once it tests the price line that it broke, it's going to come down. It creates a lower high right there. And then now it's going to create a lower low. At this point, when it creates this higher high, I could be looking for a sell. I could be looking for a, I'm looking for a sale right now. So when it comes up, price will come back to this line right here. And you will have a sell limit that goes down and closes out right there. Then you have
All right. Do we have any questions out there regarding the information we just got? I really understand the top part up there. If you have any questions, please chime in. I really understand that top part, Kenny. I do have a small question. At the second where that double head is and that long wick is,
right
at that lower high, yes. Mm-hmm. In some instances, have you ever seen it break north, break toward a buy?
Well, let me tell you, it happened to me this week on this same pair. So yes, I have seen it. That's why I wanted to come up and test and break down. I mean, there's a couple of ways that you can do this. If you know that price is going to break, if you're want to be a risky trader, you can set up a sell stop, thinking it's going to go ahead and keep going all the way down. That's your risk. I wouldn't do it. What I'm doing is I'm waiting for it to create the next lower low, so I can go back to the previous lower low. I can draw my line, and then I can set up my trade as I see this going up right here.
All right. Any questions out there? Anybody? Because if not, I'm gonna keep asking questions because I'm getting something out of it. So if I don't get a question, I'm gonna ask Kenny another question. Because
go ahead, shoot away.
All right, my question, Kenny, is: when I do this, am I on the day chart or like this part right here? Am I looking on the day or the hour, or does it just depend on if I'm a position trader
It can go. You can do it on any chart time.
Okay.
I just want to do one like I just want to show you it can be done on a day chart. I mean, but it's a lot of waiting. So if you look at this to actually for it to create the new lower low, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, almost 2 weeks. And then for it to come back up, you're looking at probably close to a month.
Right. Okay. I see what you're getting into now. So essentially all you're saying is if you're going to be in a trade for a day or 15 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever, you chart
Right.
from there. Whereas me, I might want to ride it for a month. So I would look at a month chart.
Yeah. Or I mean, you can use a day.
Okay.
But it's going to take you about a month for it to actually hit from what it's looking like right here.
Right.
So let's better yet, let's go to the 4-hour chart. I'm gonna clear the screen.
And we are getting a little low on time.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
So on the 4-hour chart, basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look for the same thing. I'm gonna look for the so say for instance right here. This is the 4-hour chart. You see how price came down right there? And then it came back up. It broke the higher high right here. So when it broke that higher high right there, I'm gonna start looking for my sell. Right there. And it comes down right there. It actually came down right here, activated, came back, retested it. And from there, it went all the way up there. That's the 4-hour chart. Better?
Someone asked, would you put a pending order in?
Yeah, I would. Once I see that this is created, once I see that the new higher high is created, I don't know what you say. Once I see that this higher high is created and it broke my previous higher high, let me take one step back and let me explain this rule right here. This rule right here, for this retracement right here, you want it to be at least 2 candles or at least a 3.6, 3.82 or 0.382 retracement. Okay.
So
you get it?
So 2 candles.
A minimum of 2 candles and the at least 3.82 retracement. So if I go from here down to here, this is a 3. It's actually a 2. Any questions?
So any questions out there regarding the two candles, because those candles are confirmation candles. If you caught my candlestick training, basically he wants to ensure that the that the trade is going to do what it's supposed to do before you go all in. I don't see any questions, Kenny. No questions.
All right.
I'm getting ones. Go ahead, Kenny.
I mean, here's what I could do. This is sort of my first time, so this is like real choppy, and I'm not I train soldiers every day, and I could do much better than what I've done. But if you like have any questions and you want to know this strategy right here, you can inbox me and we can set up a Zoom and I can help you out. I could do some one-on-one if you want to learn it. I mean, because there's actually more to it. I mean, with the Fibonacci, you can use the Fibonacci to get where you want to get to, but you can use the Fibonacci extender to actually see where price can go until before it makes a reversal, and you'll know how long you can actually like stay in a trade.
Wow.
As long as news doesn't go out. I mean, prime example, I've been doing some like really work on this right here, and I like it a lot. I don't want to get rid of
Who is that? I think that's Antonia. Antonia said they didn't see the confirmation candle. Antonia, if you look down at the bottom of that triangle and you see that big old engulfing candle right there, that bullish engulfing candle was basically confirmation that it was getting ready to run north because of all the momentum in that candle. At the bottom of that very bottom triangle that he drew. Okay. If that makes any sense at all. Somebody said, when can you do the Zooms? When can we do a Zoom? You got a couple people wanting to do some little private sessions with you.
All right, we can usually in the evening. This week I'm sort of tied up with briefings and tournament this weekend. So like in the evening, just hit me up on GroupMe and I can show you it. And I just want to I'll save this for another class. But with this strategy right here, you can also use the fib extender. Let me just.
And for folks that don't know, Fibonacci is the basis of all math ever created on Earth. And he was an Italian guy, but he went to ancient Egypt and got his knowledge. No one really knows where he got it from. All they know is they got it from ancient Egypt. That's where he studied. And now you got Fibonacci.
Yep.
So you can do the research on him, but you'll never know who trained him because they didn't put it in the history books. Just put that out there.
Yeah. You taught me something today, so I feel pretty good. So this is basically like with this right here. So we want to measure this line right here. And with the Fibonacci extender, usually these trades, when it retraces back to a 3.82, it goes to a 1.27 before it makes any changes. Between a 1.27 and a 1.618. So, I mean, there's a lot of pips right there that you can get. This right here, we set it right here. Let's take it all the way to the top right there. That's what, 42 bars in 11 days and 8 hours. That's 243 pips right there
Wow.
on a 4-hour chart.
But it goes back to being patient, right?
Goes back to being patient.
And discipline.
Yes. Very, very disciplined. Because I always remember the chart's going to move. To me, when I looking through it, the chart moves in waves of 5. You know, and at the wave of that 5, you come to a consolidation period, and then the chart takes, it either goes back up or to start coming down. So you have to really be careful, like where you're getting into. You don't want to get into something like this one right here. See how you have this higher high right here, and it came down and made this lower low, made a new higher high, and then it came all the way down here, and you're only getting what, which may be good to some, but it's not a trade I wouldn't get into. It's 77 pips, but it's sort of risky because you don't know what's going on right there, what caused that little thing right there, because that's almost like a consolidation period, moving left to right.
Yep. So we have any more questions out there? I think Kenny did a phenomenal job tonight. I know I learned a lot. If we have any questions, shoot them out. If you got some new knowledge, please give me some numbers, 1s, 2s, or 3s. Let me get some different numbers. I want some 3s. Don't give me no 1s. I want some 3s. All right. Oh, somebody gave me a 0. Okay. I'm not going to quiz y'all on Fibonacci right now.
Also, let me add, I did a buy. This also can be used in a sale. So it is vice versa, but it's done the same way. You wanted to go ahead and find the lower low. No. Right. The lower low come up to, man, let me just find one. Do I got time to find one more?
Somebody asked a question, and not to change directions on you, but someone asked a question. They said, what would be your take profit on this pair?
Depending on your lot size.
So
at a dot 10, that one there was like what, 240 something? $243. That's $243 right there.
Wow. Wow.
I'm trying to find a sale. Let me see if I can go to 1 hour.
Is anybody currently in this pair right now?
I can't find a sale one though. Well, here goes the sale one right here. So we had this right here, right there.
So I guess Vance was in that trade. That's why he had a question regarding the take profit. I don't know if you got that answer when he said Well, you said 0.01. It says, what will be your take profit on this pair on a 0.01? And then Kenny said, pending your lot size. Vance, are you talking about at what point? Where would you take profit? I guess it all depends on how much money you plan on making, or are you reaching your 10%? That's kind of like an open-ended question. So you just want to know when to get out before it turns around, basically. Is that what you're asking, Vance? So, okay, so Vance wanted to know when would they get out of that trade, that USD JPY, before it turned around? Are you?
I won't be the one to tell you when to get out of it. What I will tell you is, if you feel comfortable with your profit, I would take my profit and look at another way to get back into it.
So did that answer your question, Vance? Make sense? Okay. Yeah. And that all goes with the mindset of a trader, the psyche of trading. I know when we get in and you're young at it, I know me personally, I can't speak for everybody else, but it was just about getting in. When somebody say get in, I followed the herd. And then after getting beat up a few times and trampled by following the herd, then I started doing what Kenny is putting out right now.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing when to get in and get out. And being happy with money that I've profited instead of a large sum of money. A win is a win.
Yeah, just to let you know, like when I first started off, I used to be like, man, it's gonna go, it's gonna go, it's gonna build, and I was like, wake up, I go to bed with it blue, wake up when it's red, and there was no coming back. So I have learned positive pips is good pips, regardless of how much it is. Because at this point right now, the only thing we're trying to do is build accounts. I ain't trying to get rich overnight or off of one trade. It's gonna take multiple. It's gonna take practice to learn the skill to get where you want to get to. And then once you build your account up to that big, like $10,000 in your account size, you can do 10 pips a day and be good. Lot size.
All right. Well, I appreciate the training. I appreciate the knowledge. Let's show Kenny some love. Let's show some love out there. Antonio, if you got a question, go ahead and type it in. And then, or you can private me the question, Antonio. Private me the question, and then I'll get it. But yeah, let's show him some love. Let's show Kenny some love. I appreciate the training tonight. It was excellent training. And somebody, maybe Kimmy will spearhead the private Fibonacci question or training, Zoom, when Kenny's available. Y'all make sure y'all leave comments in the other group as well once we get off tonight. Kenny, you got any last words before we get out of here?
No, I just hope it helps you. If you need some more help, I'm here to help. I know my first run was sort of choppy. Sorry about that. And then
I don't think it was choppy, Kenny. I think it was just that the dial up you got over there, man. We're gonna get you straight, man. We're gonna get you some fiber optics, some Google Fiber. But yeah, it was just that dial up. It was excellent. And I don't know, Jason, you on here? You got any last words, Jason, before we get out of here tonight? If Jason's not, there you go. Oh, Jason's not. Okay. Well, if Jason's not on and can't hear me, we're about to get out of here. Anybody else got anything to put out there, shoot me a private email, and then I'll make sure I get the question to Kenny. I'll type my email in, shoot me an email, and I'll get that over to Kenny and make sure he can answer your questions on the email. With that being said, we're about to get out of here. We, as the Royal Covenant community, our job is to earn